Don't worry, darling. It's just a scratch. It will go away. Don't worry, darling. Just ignore it. It's fine. Don't worry, darling. They'll leave you alone one day. This is something that I heard on a regular basis. Put your hands up if you've had this as well. Right up, put your hands up. Yeah, so that's pretty much most of the room. You know, something like this. Don't worry, just ignore it. I used to hear it pretty much my entire childhood. And I know this because words hurt just as much as actions. It's a horrible feeling, people's words attacking you completely from the outside and the inside. I know this because I suffered from severe racial bullying and discrimination and Islamophobia, and this had a detrimental effect on my mental health, and I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety issues. I suffered from a very young age, from about 5 or 6 years old. I was from a very conservative, middle-class area of Sevenoaks in Kent, and I was the only Asian girl in my school. I was the only coloured girl. I had brown skin, and the entire school population was white. And people used to come up to me. They'd take the mick out of my colour, my religion, my family, my culture, my religion, because I'm Muslim and Bangladeshi, and there was no other family in that area at the time. It was very, very difficult. And English wasn't my first language. I didn't really understand the language, I didn't understand the culture. My parents were also very new to this. My dad had a restaurant, and himself suffered from racism, discrimination, and Islamophobia. People used to go to his restaurant and throw curry at his windows, so his restaurant would be stained with curry. Absolutely disgusting. People would be that spiteful and go to that much effort. People used to chase us home after school. People used to bully me in the playground, break times, lunch times, you name it. I had everything going. And for a vulnerable little girl, very shy and quiet, you know, it was just a horrible feeling. I remember sitting on break time. I was drinking my milk, as you do. You're a little kid. You drink your milk at break time. It gives you all the protein that you need. And people take my milk off me. They'd throw it back at my face. And I'd be smelling of milk the entire day. It was not a nice feeling at all. Even one time, I had my best friend's sister. She didn't like me. She didn't like my culture. She didn't like my religion or my family. So she used to kick me to the ground. And even today, I still have that scar on my leg. Over a decade or so on, it's still on my leg here. And every time I look at my leg, I think of all those playground memories, beaten up, pushed, shoved, have my hair clip thrown out of me. And the ladies, teachers, just ignoring me. You know, don't worry, darling, just a little scratch. Don't worry, darling, just ignore it, you'll be fine. You know, this carried on throughout my school, education, especially when I went into secondary school. You know, things started to change. I was about 12, 13, social media involved, internet involved, and there was a big shift in attitudes from back in the day. It was all about colour and race and background. Those days, it was about religion and Islamophobia because of the recent attacks and the media coverage, the really negative media coverage that was around. So people used to discriminate me because I went to an all-girls school and my parents didn't want me to wear skirts because that was the rule. And I used to wear trousers. And I used to get a hell of a lot of abuse for wearing trousers. Oh, why are you wearing trousers? That's not fair, you're a special case. Go home, F off back home, packy this. Go and burn, go and die. Go and stick yourself in the microwave. Everything. Again, I got very, very depressed. I reported it constantly. My parents were coming in and out of school. Absolutely helpless. Was not getting anywhere. Eventually, I wore a skirt, long skirt, might I add, and the bullying carried on. The harassment carried on. My academic performance was going down. And at the age of 14, between the ages of 14 and 16, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. And I went to the doctor for the first time, and I said, look, I've got something wrong with me. I'm not really sure. What do I do? And she was like, oh, just ignore it. You're a teenager, you get these problems, you're all depressed and anxious. And I was thinking, wait a minute, you're a doctor. I'm a young person. I'm coming to you for help and guidance because no one else is helping me. Where else am I supposed to go? And as you know, doctors' surgeries are very full and tight these days. So the doctor didn't help me, the parents didn't help me, the school wasn't helping me. What else do I do? So I had to deal with it and carry on with my schooling. And it just carried on. And eventually I got more involved in school, clubs, societies, drama, and throughout the whole stage, I was involved in campaigning and things. You know, my name is Tamanna Miah, and I'm a campaigner, I'm an activist, I'm a media spokesperson, and I've been campaigning for over 10, 11 years now about issues such as bullying, racism, Islamophobia, mental health, because my personal experiences, I feel like I can really use them and educate people and hopefully inspire people. And if I didn't volunteer and campaign, then I wouldn't be able to come out the other side. You know, it's helped me to breathe. It's given me a new different world. And it just goes to show that, you know, you get yourself so busy in something, you can really make a world of difference. So I carried on with campaigning, activism throughout school, university, college, everything else. And I went to university and problems got worse. It carried on. You know, the racism, the bullying, the Islamophobia, carried on. And at university you think, you know, everyone's grown up. You know, it's all finished now, it's all stopped. But actually, that wasn't the case. My first year at university was very difficult, as was sixth form, the mixed sixth form. I had some housemates that weren't very nice to me. They're from very, you know, populated areas in London, and they used to harass me. They'd put things in my food, they'd prank me, they'd tag me in photos on social media, they'd comment, they'd get their friends to harass me. My own friends were scared of visiting me because they thought, I don't want to come to see you, your friends are going to harass me. My family were worried about seeing me because I don't want to get bullied by your housemates. I'd rather not risk it. So I was very lonely, and I often had to lock myself and hide in my own house. I had to hide in my bathroom, I'd hide in my kitchen. I'd report it to my university, accommodation. Again, I wasn't getting the help I needed. I was on waiting list after waiting list after waiting list. I didn't know what to do, and I nearly failed my first year. It wasn't a very nice experience at all. Eventually, I did get moved out to another house, and I felt like I could breathe. I could open the window. I could open the door. I could go to the kitchen. I could go to the bathroom and not look over my shoulder. A feeling like that is just, you can't even explain it. Having to do what you want in your own house, the fear of intimidation. I was always looking over my shoulder. And I sometimes do. Even today, I feel like I do carry on looking at my shoulder. And it's not a nice feeling to have. So I went into second year at university. It was much more smoother. Third year also was a difficult year. I suffered again from my housemates as well, from bullying, the racism, Islamophobia. Once upon a time, I walked home from the station one day, and I had this old lady. She came up to me and she said, "Oh, you got a bomb in your bag?" And I looked at her like, I can't believe you just said that. Like, really, I was speechless. I was just walking home from the station with some food in my bag that Mum gave me because, you know, students, they just can't be bothered to cook. When I was one of those students where I needed my mum's cooking because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. But anyway, point is, she just called me practically a terrorist. What am I supposed to do? So I said, look, I don't understand, but I've just got some food in my bag. She's like, oh, I was only joking, love. Calm down. Well, actually, you weren't joking at all. And it's things like that. It's happening on a daily basis. People attacking people. Muslims, Islam, terrorists, bombs. We are not terrorists. We're humans. We all belong to the same human race. And every single day I hear about stories of people having their headscarves ripped off, being attacked in public. It makes me angry, and it makes so many people angry. Why should we have to justify these? Why should we have to defend other people's actions when it's not us? Why should I have to condemn people in Iraq or Iran? I mean, I don't live in Iraq or Iran. I don't approve of violence. Why should we be labelled? It's just not good enough. It's not good enough at all. So things like that. I even had 8-year-olds, come up to me. Oh, you're a terrorist. You're packy. Get out of my street. What are you doing? 8-year-olds. Racism. You're not born with racism. You're not a horrible person. You're not born to be a bully. You're not born to say things like this at all. It's obviously you learn it from somewhere. You're taught it. No one is horrible. No one really wants to be horrible. I don't think any one of you really want to be horrible. I'm not a horrible person. You're not a horrible person. You're not a horrible person. And it makes me angry because people like this, they really affect other people. And really, mentally, it gets people down. So, as a result, I've been campaigning, and I created a film with various charities, and this is one of the projects that I worked on. Fixes, it's a charity for young people, 16 to 25, and we work on issues that affect us using our personal experiences. So I created a film about racism, bullying, and how it affects mental health. And this is the film that I created. So that was my film on racist bullying, and here it says, words hurt just as much as actions, and I can't emphasise that enough. Words really do hurt just as much as actions. And this went viral, this was all over social media, we blogged, we wrote articles, we did everything to get it out there. And I've been campaigning with different charities since. I've got it on TV, I've got it on the radio, I've been to conferences, I've been to meetings, I've been to events, I've been to Europe, I've been to Spain, I've been everywhere, because I really want to get it into people's heads. Words really do hurt just as much as actions. And now I'm going to show you the next thing, which is this film, but on the television. I was put onto the television, so if we could play that now.
Here, a woman who suffered racist bullying at school is trying to change perceptions by speaking out about what she went through. Tamanna Miah, who's from Sevenoaks, has made a film with Fixers, the campaign which gives young people the chance to make films on matters that mean most to them. Childline says complaints about racist bullying have increased by 2/3, a trend that Tamanna hopes to help reverse.
When I was growing up, I was the only Asian kid in town. I got more than my fair share of racist bullying. My Fixers project is a film showing how hurtful it can be. words hurt just as much as actions. I'm Tamanna Miah, I'm 20 years old and I'm from Sevenoaks. There was a group of girls, I think one of them I was friends with, and suddenly they all kind of turned against me. I used to kind of get beaten up, physically abused, emotionally abused. They call me like names and say I'm this, oh you should go back home where you belong. I felt completely alone, worthless, pointless. I always used to ask myself, you know, why am I the colour that I am? And I always used to go to my mum and dad and say, you know, why am I this colour? Why am I not the same as everyone else? So how big a problem is racist bullying these days?
There were over 80,000 incidents reported in schools between 2007 and 11, and Childline reported a 69% increase in racist bullying in calls made to them. So it is a growing problem.
Do you think schools do enough to combat racist bullying?
Many do, obviously. They take it very seriously, bullying in all its forms. But there are schools, and I'm sure there's lots of organisations outside of education where it's a subject matter they'd rather not deal with.
My film got its first public screening today. We were just trying to say in our film that, you know, any kind of abuse, whether it's physical or verbal, it can be harmful, just as hitting someone can be harmful. It can affect you mentally, it can affect you emotionally, it can really do a lot of damage.
I think it's very powerful because it gives you a visual demonstration of how damaging mental cruelty and mental bullying can be.
I got some verbal abuse for being Jewish, and I think long term it niggled at my self-esteem and confidence, just as it showed on the video.
Having this sort of short, punchy, hard-hitting message with clear, concise information in it is I think, quite important, and it will make a difference.
I'd be happy if after seeing my film, young people would look beyond someone's skin colour and valued them for who they really are.
Well, if you'd like to find out more about Fixers and see the other films and projects that make up the campaign, just go to fixers.org.uk.
So that was the TV broadcast, and I've only got 38 seconds left. So what I really want to say is words hurt just as much as actions. And, you know, I've been through this, mental health, bullying, racism, discrimination, Islamophobia. If I can go through this and do this, I really, really encourage people to go out there and speak about your issues, speak about your problems, share your story. You know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep going, whatever life throws at you. And please, please, please do not give up. Thank you very much for listening.